Bonjour YouTube, welcome back to Talking Thursdays. Today is not about protests, we promise. In fact, today is going to be a little bit of a special episode because we thought why not?
Yeah.
You know, and you're going to see us making what?
Kombucha.
From
Mushroom
scratch.
from scratch.
Yes. So basically, we're going to tell you today how to make your SCOBY, what makes kombucha afterwards, or the tea mushroom as we call it, without the kombucha bottle, without the culture, without the actual mushroom itself. So,
On y va?
on y va. And before we get into the episode, please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and if you don't like, just like, it's fine. But thank you so much for subscribing. So if you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to subscribe and activate your notification bell. It's at the bottom. Here, I don't know. And yeah, now we can go on. So, as you may have noticed, I'm the only one in the shot because Sinan is holding the camera and he doesn't know how to make this. So he's just going to be my cameraman and I'm going to explain it to you. Now, why did we decide to make this video? It's because, first of all, kombucha is good for you and everybody knows that and it's super popular. But most important thing, why, is because I've spent hours and hours on YouTube looking for how to make kombucha SCOBY, so the mushroom. Actually, I'm going to refer to it as the tea mushroom from here onward because that's what we call it in Russian. And how do you make one? And I searched for it. I searched for it in English everywhere. I could not find anything. I found tons of results where everything involved either getting your own SCOBY or your mushroom, or you like buying it from the store or the neighbor, or you need to get actual kombucha drink from the store and then you add it into whatever you prepare. So the situation is more like a chicken and an egg, which came first. You know, people are asking the same question, how do you do it? How do you do it if you don't have the access to kombucha or you cannot buy it? Well, it's been existing for hundreds of years, this drink, and it just so happens that in my background, in my culture, Russian culture, we actually make it from scratch. So I felt it was my duty to share it with all of you how to make it, and I'll do it in English. So let's go. Here are the ingredients that you will need. You've got tea. Make sure to have tea without any additives. No chemicals in there, no flavors, nothing like that. So just pure, preferably bio, you know, just get whatever tea you can as long as it's not aromatic. So you can either get the black tea or the green tea. I have a green tea here, which is the just basically natural green tea. It's from Carrefour and it's just leaves. So you've got your tea, you've got your sugar, because sugar is the main ingredient that feeds the mushroom. You will need water, more on this later in a bit, and you will need this. This is the thing that people forget about, and this is the thing that makes the magic. It's the apple cider vinegar. You need to make sure to buy a real one. Don't buy chemical one, don't buy normal vinegar. There is a contradiction. People say you can use normal vinegar, chemical vinegar. I tried both. They didn't. The regular one does not work for me, but the apple vinegar, apple cider works really well. I got the normal one again from Carrefour, and this is just a bio apple cider vinegar. And a little bit more about water itself. So I am not a doctor. I'm not gonna go into details with like, you know, what's going on, and I'm not a scientist, so I don't really know exact names of things, but just to give you an idea, basically what happens is if you use hot water in the very beginning of preparation, the moment of preparation, you basically essentially kill all the bacteria and all the positive good things that are in the tea. Now let's begin. So first we need to make sure that we have our water, and this water it's a little warm, but it's not hot, you know, so it's good to go. You've got the vinegar, you've got the tea and the sugar. So the first thing we do is we take our water. I'm using the water that is tap water. However, don't just pour tap water. You cannot use tap water by itself. It's preferable to use filtered water, or it's preferable to get bottled water, but I am using tap water. But what I've done is I boiled it. You have to make sure that you also clean the jar. The jar needs to be, I'm using a small one. I don't use a big one, because in the beginning, when you grow the mushroom itself, when you grow the SCOBY, it doesn't need that much space. It doesn't need that much of liquid and water. You need to first let it grow and get stronger. So this is more than enough to grow a SCOBY in the very beginning. Because what happens is that it first gets stronger here, it develops here, and then as it grows thicker, then you can change it into, you can move it into another jar, bigger size and more liquid and everything. So what I do is I'm going to measure it with spoons and teaspoons, because my scale is not listening to me today. For 300 milliliters of water, I put one tablespoon for each 100, so three tablespoons of sugar. You need to make sure that the sugar is just white sugar. There is nothing. You can use brown, I guess, but I don't know. I've never used brown sugar for this. This was not full, so I'm gonna put a bit more. So that's about three tablespoons of water, right? And it's not advised to use metal, but I just used it. So what I will do is I will use the less you use the better, right? So I'm using the chopsticks. You need to make sure that all of your tea is gone, that all of your sugar, it's melted. Now this is extremely important in the future. When you have your SCOBY, never ever pour dry sugar or just pour sugar directly on the SCOBY. You have to make sure that you first prepare the liquid and then you can add it. Then you can add it into the, the home of the mushroom, into the jar. So it seems like it's almost done. And then what you do is you take tea, and as I said, just normal leaf tea. Again, it's not boiling hot. Make sure that the water is not boiling hot, otherwise you will kill it. And since I put 3 tablespoons of sugar, let's put 3 teaspoons of tea. So that's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. Now, many people say, oh, you shouldn't do this, you should just let it boil, you should just first let it be doing its thing, and then get rid of the particles of tea, you need to get rid of all of that, and then you make you are left only with the liquid. I don't believe that, because what's gonna happen is that all these tea leaves, they will all sink. They will sink after some time, and they will not bother your mushroom when it grows. Even if it is part of the mushroom is just gonna wrap itself around the tea particle, the tea leaf, and it will do nothing else. It will just grow. It will continue growing. Nothing is wrong with it growing near this tea or having it as part of itself. It's not an issue. It's fine. So I'm just mixing all of this. You see, it's very easy. You just add these things and it's so easy, super easy. Again, I'm using metal and I keep on forgetting, but it's okay. It's in the very beginning. It's fine as long as you don't use it later. And the third one, I don't know, I feel like it's weird with this camera. Let me know if it's not weird. But I want you guys to see what's going on in here. I want you guys to see all of this, so yeah. Now the third ingredient that people forget about, and this is the most important one. In my opinion, it's the most important one because people forget about it. This apple cider vinegar. Now, why do we put apple cider vinegar? It's because it adds the acidity, it helps with fermentation, it protects the future organism that will grow in there from the mold. More on that later. This thing basically speeds things up. I'm telling you very simple explanation. This is how my family have taught me. This is how I've learned from the neighbors and friends, I'm not gonna go into details of which bacteria does what, but so the vinegar creates this acidic environment. because the mushroom itself, when it's growing in the beginning, it's not strong enough to produce its own acidic environment, because eventually later on it produces its own vinegar, and that way it keeps itself healthy and protected from the mold and other stuff. But in the beginning you need to add this. That way it will speed things up inside the bottle, and at the same time it will create kind of a protection layer for the mushroom inside. So what I will do is, because there are 300 milliliters, I will put about three tablespoons of vinegar. It's very easy, you just do it like that, you know. So 1, 2, 3. Right. You see? Very easy. Stir it up. And that's it. This is your future kombucha. Future kombucha. It's very easy, it's very simple. So the last thing that you will need is this. It's just fabric, cotton. It needs to be, I got this one because you have some sort of like, you can see kind of through it. Why you need this is because, especially as time passes, you've got vinegar in there. So the vinegar, it attracts a lot of little, flies and little insects and stuff. So you need to protect the kombucha, you need to protect your mushroom. This organism likes cleanliness. Whatever you do, you need to, whenever you start making all of this, you need to make sure that it's all clean. You need to make sure that your table is clean, that all the utilities are clean. Utensils, not utilities. All the utensils are clean, all of the things are clean. Otherwise, you're gonna just end up with a lot of other things and organisms living in there. So all you do is very simple. You just cover it, add it, like hold it with the rubber band, like this. Once you're done with this, the next thing you need to do is that you need to keep it in the dark place that is warm, between, not too warm, so between 18 to about 25 degrees in the house. Don't keep it anywhere that it's lower than that, because then the growth process will slow down and you have a problem. You may have a problem with the mold, because mold likes colder environment, and mold is not a good thing for the mushroom. So what I will do now is I'm just gonna keep it somewhere dark, and then we will see a bit later how it goes. So this layer is about 4 days old. No, 3 days old. And this is from the leftover of kombucha that I got, the experiment that I'm doing, because I want to see how it works. So this is it. This is the actual, I believe this is starting to grow. There's no mold in it, thankfully. So that's a good thing. This thing on the side here, that's just a bit of tea, right? So this is it. So I think this will be a very good mushroom. Hopefully it will be very good in about maybe a couple of weeks. So let's see. But this is day 3. This is day 3. Yeah. And the second one, this one, is the one that I do from scratch. As you can see, it's a little bit more, there's tea, okay? And look at it inside, it's so cool. It's actually really beautiful already. This one is faster, but I have a feeling there is a bit of mold on top over there, like in the middle. But it's okay, it's nothing to worry about. I think it's because of the tea, the particles, and it's nothing to worry about, because if it grows a little bit more, we'll just add a little bit more of vinegar and it will kill it. So because it's a little bit colder, it's a bit colder nowadays, you see, the important thing is to keep it warm. It shouldn't be too warm, but it shouldn't be too cold. I would say maybe around 25, 24 degrees. I don't have that temperature at home because it would be too hot for us. But we have it around, I would say, somewhere in between 18 and 21. So instead of leaving it like this for it to freeze, what I do is I put a scarf. Voila, this is how it is. I keep it warm like that. and yeah, it's going back now to my dry shelf because it's too early. It needs a couple of more weeks. So I keep it like this. I have a little bit of a, you see they're all wrapped up, and at the same time they have the I put the scarf in between. So let's see, this is the initial one. As you just saw earlier, the tea particles, the tea leaves, they are fine. They all just fall to the bottom. This is it. So as you can see, these are the tea leaves. The liquid inside, it smells very vinegary because initially I got this one and then it kind of fell and then it rose back up. This is the mushroom itself. I know it looks a bit gross to some, it may look gross to some people, but this is how it grows. This is what it looks like in the very beginning. The second one, we had a little bit of an issue. It got a bit of mold, but when you have mold, it means that it's just cold. It's cold or there is not enough acidity inside. So what you can do is that you just add a little bit of vinegar. Don't just pour it on top because you're just gonna damage or you're gonna like stress the mushroom itself. Just lean it a little bit all the time. Whenever you wanna add something, you lean a bit and then you pour it on the edge. Some people even use like a syringe. I don't have syringes, so I don't use that. But yeah, so this is it. This is the second one. It's got a little bit of mold, you can see in the middle. I am not touching it right now because I want it to grow a bit more. I've got several layers inside already. I don't know if I can... Here. You see there is the first layer. It kind of bent down a bit. And then there is an upper layer on top. So what happens is the mushroom grows in layers. So it goes, the top layer is the newest layer and then it goes one after another after another. What I will do is I'm going to monitor it. I'm going to see whether there will be more mold or not. In fact, so far there is less mold than there was a few days ago. I checked it last on the 25th. I didn't make a video of it because the light was not good. It was very overcast. And what I did is that this is when I added the vinegar and now it seems to be recovering. It seems to be recovering and it seems to be growing. And then the third one that I have, the one that I did an experiment with, the one that I mentioned earlier. This one is growing by itself, but this one I did an experiment because I just wanted to see if you add the actual remains of kombucha drink, what will happen. This one is a little bit smaller. It's like this. So they are growing like that. Of course, you shouldn't drink what's inside the jar. You shouldn't drink it because it's not ready yet. And you shouldn't drink it. This one, you shouldn't drink it. What you need to do is that you need to let these mushrooms grow. I'm going to wait for about a week more or maybe a week and a half until they get about 5 millimeters thick. So like a little bit this much. Until they get that thick, I'm not going to disturb them. And then what I will do, I'm just checking in on them. If they fall a little bit to the bottom, people say leave it. I don't think you should leave it because it needs to breathe, it needs to grow. If you leave it at the bottom, then all you're just gonna do is that you're just gonna get a new mushroom growing on top. And you don't wanna start everything from scratch, do you? So what I do is I check on them every 2-3 days. I see how they are. You know, if one of them is down, then I will either add a little bit of water with sugar. I mix the sugar and the water in advance, of course. I let it cool down, or I don't even, yeah, as long as the water is fresh, basically, is clean. Make sure you never put sugar on top of the mushroom, you will burn it. And so don't do that. I feed it like that with the sugar until it grows thicker and bigger. Once it grows bigger, once it's thicker, I will move it to a bigger jar. And then you see that you let it grow a bit more, and then after basically about a couple of more weeks, then you can create the new, you can make a new liquid like sugar and water and tea, and then you can start fermenting your kombucha. But until they are grown, until they're strong, until you see that they are not weak or too thin, you shouldn't expect it to work for the drink, because it's too small to ferment anything yet. It needs to grow, it needs to be bigger, it needs to be stronger, and then it will create the drinks for you. So yeah, so we'll definitely check in on them. The one I prepared today, we'll keep it and we'll see. And we'll check in on these in about a week or so. And now Sinan has something to say.
Now from now on you can create your own mushroom from scratch without the mushroom itself or liquid. Because I also search in Turkish, I look for so many videos in Turkish. Everybody use either mushroom or liquid itself to create kombucha mushroom from scratch. They say from scratch, but it wasn't from scratch. So they get the materials, ready-made materials, and they just add up during the preparation. And I couldn't find anything, so we decided to make a new video to tell you how to make kombucha from scratch.
And we hope you like it.
Yeah. If you don't like it, not a big problem.
It's okay,
Yeah.
but let us know if this video helped you. And yeah, there will be a part 2 where we follow up on the ones that are growing and the ones that we made today. And we'll see. So until the next episode.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.